Hi everybody, Cynthia here. I'm back with my Jingle, Jangle in July Christmas series. And I did say I was going to come back and share with you guys how I put these really cute shaker tags together. So that if there's anybody out there like me that's pretty new to making shaker tags, maybe, you could benefit from watching the video. So let's get started. I'm just gonna show you what I used. I used this stamp set I get from a crafting magazine. I got it for free, and it's from hunkydorycrafts.co.uk. And I used the penguin, the sweater, the little snowman stamp on his sweater. I did some snow text on him. I actually made a few of these because they were just a lot of fun to put together, but I made them for all kinds of projects. I did one in a pink and green. I did 3, I think. And then I made some with a red sweater and a green cap. And then I did like a light green. And I did this darker green, which I think is my favorite. I like the darker green. So I'm already used those on other projects, but they're so much fun to make. Okay, so then for the don't open till December 25th and the Merry Christmas sentiment, I used a holiday jar filler stamp set from Paper Tray Ink. I used these stitched dies, which we're going to use to create our tags. I used the Winter Frost paper collection from Recollections, and I used some of this heat resistant acetate from Paper Wishes. Okay, so let's get started. I've already used the largest die to cut out the base of my tag, which is the back here, and I stamped to and from on the back of mine, so I've already done that to save some time, as well as cut out the full sheet of acetate that's going to go on the top to create the shaker. The only thing that I did is this tag has a tiny punch hole to put through your string or your twine. I made mine a lot larger because the ribbon that I'm using is actually 1.5 inches thick, and I needed a larger hole. So I created those already as well. I punched out 3 snowflakes from this punch, glued them on to my tag, and then I glittered them up. And I did that ahead of time because it takes a little time for that to dry. So the base of my tag is already done. I already cut out my acetate. What we have left to do is cut out our foam and then the silver frame that goes on top. I made my tag from the smallest stitch die that I have, and I stamped on Merry Christmas. And then I have my ribbon and twine cut out, which I'll give you the measurements when we put it together. And I already have one of my little guys made. The foam I'm using is a thicker foam because I wanted plenty of room for my beads and sequins to shake around. If you're only using really teeny tiny seed beads and glitter, you could, or flat, they have a lot of flat sequins now. You could probably get away with using the thinner foam, but mine are a little bit larger, so I'm using the thicker foam. And I purchased that at Hobby Lobby. Alright, so what I'm going to do to create first we're going to cut the frame. So I'm going to take the largest stitch die that I have, and if you want the measurements of the actual tag size, it measures 4.5 inches high by approximately 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to face this down. This is the cut side. I'm going to face this down. I'm going to take the next size and I'm going to try as best I can to center it within the largest die. I'm going to get some washi tape and my cut plates here. Okay, I got my cut plates. And I'm just taking a couple pieces of this washi tape and I'm going to tape them together. And the reason why is because I do not have a magnetic plate that will hold them still when I put them through my Cuttlebug. So if you use washi tape, which peels right off, by the way, or you could try painter's tape too. Never thought to try painter's tape. I like to tape mine up really well, as you will see. But this helps it from not shifting and moving when it's in my cutter. Okay, so we're going to tape those together. And I'm going to gently pull them up. And just make sure that tape's on really well. And I'm going to flip them over onto my plate. And I'm going to place my tag right on top. Let me get out my Cuttlebug. I don't know if you'll be able to see all of this, so I have my camera pretty close, but I'm going to put it in my cutter, put my sandwich plate on top, and just run it through. Oh, got the wrong plate. I need the C plate. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm using an A plate, a B plate, and a C plate. And we're going to run that through. And let me move this out of the way for a second. Okay. So now, when we lift this off carefully, we have an extra tag that we can use for another project. And we also have our silver frame for our shaker tag. So I'm going to put that aside because I still need to cut my foam. So I'm going to place my foam right on top, just like I did with the silver paper. I have my A plate, my B plate, and my C plate all ready to go. Put my cutter back up here. Oh, come on. There we go. I couldn't get it started. And run that through. Take that off. And I don't really have to worry about these staying together anymore because we've already made our cuts. So I'm just going to peel off the washi tape. Put those back on my magnetic sheet. So I have a tendency to lose things if I don't put them away right away. And I will post a link below where I got these stitch dies on Amazon. I ordered them quite a long time ago. And also the acetate. If you guys are in need of any of that, I will post a link below to those as well. Now this extra foam, I keep these and I store them in a little drawer and I use them as pop dots for my embellishments. Okay, there's our frame. And like I said, we're going to use this for other embellishments, so don't throw that stuff away. And I'm going to put my plates away. And then, like I said to you before, I did punch larger holes in these because, as you see, it's just a tiny little hole and I needed larger for my ribbon. So I'm actually going to place the frame on top of my foam and create a larger hole with my punch. Try and slide. You know what? I think I'll do one at a time. Be on the safe side. Okay, so I made a larger hole for the foam and a larger hole for the tag. Okay, so let's assemble it. First, you're going to put down your tag, and then I'm going to actually glue my foam piece to this tag part here. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. This stuff works really well for me. I don't know if other people use like two-sided tape or if they use hot glue, but I like to use this liquid glue because if I don't place it exactly right the first time, I have no problem kind of moving it around a little bit. And it takes a little bit longer to dry, but I'm okay with that because I'm not an expert at these by any means. And I'm honestly okay with waiting for it to dry. Okay, so you want to press that down once you have it in place to make sure it really seals with your paper. And I've already taken like my plate and put it over and then just pressed. So it pressed on the whole thing. Okay, so that's glued on really nice. Now you want to get whatever you want to put inside. I just have a bag of different colored sequins and these really small beads for more of my wintry type shakers. So I'm just going to grab some out and pour a nice amount in. Okay. And I just have a little piece of paper in there. It's like a scrap piece to use as a scoop. Okay, so now on top of that, I'm going to glue on my acetate. Oh! I knew that was going to happen every single time I go to pick up my shaker. I manage to dump beads. Do any of you guys do that, or is it just me? And it's every time. And I say to myself, I'm going to be careful, and I still do it. I should have a bloopers reel, like a blooper video. Show all the mistakes that I make, because I make a lot of them. It's just you don't always get to see it. So let's try this again. I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to add glue to the edge. And then I'm going to go back around and add it to the inside so that nothing leaks. Slide that back down and place my acetate on top of that. If you put in your search bar of YouTube DIY shaker tags or how to make shaker tags, watch a bunch of videos because everybody has their own style of making shaker tags, and you could really benefit from watching them all because you can pick up little tips and tricks from everybody. Okay, so now that's got to dry, so I'm not going to move that around too much. My next step is to put my frame on. And some people have a different process of how they build up their shaker tags, so I always like to watch those videos just to see if I can pick something up from somebody else. Place that on top. And I just want to make sure it's lined up really well. Okay, I'm going to take my plate once again, set it on top, and press. Just seems to press it on evenly for me. I'm just going to wipe it off in case I got some glue on there. Okay, that looks really good. So while it's drying, I'm going to get out my twine and my sentiments here. And the first thing I'm going to do is put my twine through, and I cut it at about 18 inches, and that way whoever gets them will have an extra long amount to tie it to a gift package or a gift bag. And we'll loop this one through. And then I have my penguin ribbon, and I cut this out at about 8 inches, and I don't want the wire inside of it. I don't want it that stiff in my gift tag. So I'm going to pull the wire out. And before I go and pull the penguin ribbon through, I'm going to glue this little guy on. And as you can see on this one, I have him, he's sticking out a little bit on the edge, but his little feet are right here at the bottom. So I'm going to aim for the same area there. And this part will be glued to the acetate. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to try and line them up best I can. And I've had some questions on what glue I use, because I do always put paper over my bottle. I like to decorate the bottle for some reason every holiday, but I use art glitter glue adhesive, and I buy this from various different places. Depends who's having good sales. I try to watch for them, but I have gotten them on eBay. I've gotten them Amazon, and I've also purchased from a fellow YouTuber, May Made It. So I always like to just go and check some prices and see who's having a good deal, and then I buy them that way. Okay, so in order to have a penguin in the front, I'm going to put this in with their little feet first. And I want the pattern facing the opposite way. And that way when I loop it up, I'll show you. But this is going to be a little tricky. But I know I can get it in there. I just like the look of the thicker ribbon, or the wider ribbon. Even though this isn't completely dry, I'm going to pull it through for the video. But you may want to make sure all your glue is completely dry before you pull your ribbons through. especially if you have thicker ribbon. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this behind this ribbon and kind of work this through here, get it to lay nice. Okay. And this is going to stick to the back. That looks pretty good. Now let me make sure. Oh, my glue wasn't dry. See, that's why I suggest definitely wait for everything to dry before you pull your ribbon through. It takes a little longer to dry with the foam. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of hot glue. It's not feeding through. Hold on. There we go. Little dab of hot glue here in the front. Just press that. And then this ribbon's facing towards, you know, my pattern's facing towards the back. So all I do is twist so it's facing the front, and then I'll add a little dab of hot glue and just kind of glue it to the front piece there, and that way both patterns are facing the same way. You don't have that back piece looking out here. Alright, I'm going to take some more twine and I'm going to create a bow. I'm going to put my tag on first. And then before I tie this real tight, I just want to make sure my tag, this tag's laying in a nice area. And tie a bow there and fix it a little. And then I'm just going to cut some excess off. I love this stuff. It's white and silver. And I got this from Joann's. It's Miss Sparkle and Company. It's $1.99 in their little bins they have there. It's really, really nice stuff. Okay, so all I have left to do is to create little banner cuts on my tag. So I'm just going to put them both together, fold them together, and then cut them at an angle. And there you have it. So that's how I made my shaker tags, and like I said, everybody does them differently, so make sure you check out, there's tons of videos out there on how to create them. And make sure your stuff is dry before you actually pull your ribbon through. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and happy crafting.